genuinely, like, I don't think, like, I think women don't have any concept of, like, seconds, minutes and hours.
Time.
Yeah? It's fantastic. Are all settings okay on there? Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
You see, I can't be there because I can't swing my chair. Right, how far can I go this side?
That's
No,
it, yeah, because you, yeah,
move my chair now.
yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
I can't move my chair otherwise. What time is it? Is it 10 yet?
9:59.
9:59. 9:51, but I'm not drinking wine. Sarah, honestly, Sarah looks fantastic this morning. You know, she looks like an absolute angel. Guys, thank you. Are we 10? It's not 10 o'clock yet, Sarah. It's not 10 o'clock.
9:59.
It's 9:59. We're not starting till 10 o'clock. Oh, I've got no coffee. That's didn't see that one coming. Did not see that one.
Morning, Sarah.
Guys, it's 10 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe, share our stuff. Tap the screen. We have got a fantastic live stream for you guys this morning. There's been so much happening around the world, so much calamity, so much natural disaster. It's all happening. Let me just quickly refresh this screen real quick so I know that I can give you guys the most up-to-date information. So guys, before we start, I want to mention what's happening in the United States right now. So they've got a Category 5 hurricane heading towards Florida. Now, people are saying this could be the biggest hurricane
Thank you for
ever
subscribing,
recorded.
James. Thank
Guys,
you, Lauren.
also you guys who are subscribing, we do exclusive content to our subscribers every day. We warn you about things that are happening in the future. We tell you things that would normally get a video taken down. So if you want to be involved with that content, guys, please consider subscribing. You know, we do get a lot of videos taken down, and that is the only way we can get that information out to you guys.
Thank you, Denise.
If we put that out in the open, the video will get deleted, we'll get a strike, we may get our platform taken down, and it doesn't help anyone. So guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Like I said, we get exclusive content out to you guys every day. So what's happening in the United States at the moment, and this brings us on to what we've been talking about on this channel, about everybody needs to have, like, you know, we all need to start thinking about urban survival, you know, and being able to relocate and what that entails. So right now, as we speak, in the United States, it's looking like Thursday at 2 a.m. US time, there's going to be this Hurricane Milton, hitting landfall in the United States. Guys, the maximum wind, this hurricane, the maximum wind of this hurricane is 180 miles per hour. I can't even conceptualize that. The heaviest wind we've witnessed in our house is 80 kilometers an hour. That was obviously winter storm season, and that absolutely battered our house. Now, if you think about the way that the homes are, guys, we live in a really old stone house, and and the walls are like maybe 2 foot thick. So we've got relative protection. What just happened? Something happened.
Thank you, James.
So but in the United States, they build their houses out of wood, and wood is wood's not as strong as stone. So there's going to be an absolute catastrophe in the United States, and that's going to start on Thursday at 2 a.m. Now, if you're in the United States, and guys, what we'll do is we'll save this video and we'll upload it to our other platform, because I know guys in the United States don't get to watch it. But guys, if you're in the United States and you're watching this, and if you're in that Tampa, Orlando region, guys, you need to get out of the wake of that storm, and you need to head north Don't head south. Don't head to the Miami, Key West, because if the trajectory of that storm changes, you guys are going to be trapped on the south coast, and then where are you going to go? You literally have nowhere to go. If you guys head north, you can go further north, and keep going, disperse around the country. Right, guys, so this brings me to, like, why does this matter if we're in the United Kingdom? What does this matter to, us living our everyday lives? If you live in the United Kingdom, or if you live in the United States, Canada, the likelihood of, Russian tanks rolling is literally zero. I mean, to get to the United States, first of all, they're going to have to cross 2 oceans. To get to the United Kingdom, they're going to have to cross a load of countries in Europe, and then they're going to have to cross the Channel. It's just not going to happen. However, what there is a massive threat of is, sabotage, freak weather, grid down situations, all these situations where you would have to evacuate your home. Now, look what's happening in Florida right now. I can imagine there's mass evacuations of people heading north. Now, how long are those people going to have to pack up their stuff and leave? So when I talk to you guys about having an urban survival kit and make sure you have, kit and equipment ready that you can just grab and go at a moment's notice to move, it's because of these situations. Now, when these people are being evacuated, so we'll stick to Florida, but this could happen anywhere in the world. When you're being evacuated and you go to the next state, the next town, the next city, that city will find you facilities, and normally this facility will be a sports hall. It could potentially be a hotel. It will be wherever they can put you. Now, if you live in the United Kingdom, most of the hotels, unfortunately, are taken over by migrants. So, it gives an added dimension to these urban survival kits when you're thinking about putting them together. But guys, don't worry. Why shouldn't we worry, Sean? Why are we saying don't worry? Well, guys, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you. You should have passed me this, Sarah, like a magician's assistant. So yesterday, guys, if you've been following my videos, I said I would go out and I'd get this for you guys. I've started putting this together. This is an urban survival kit. So it's just a small backpack. Now these backpacks, these single strap backpacks, they're small, they're easy to carry. You can put them on your back. If you've got a bigger backpack, you can put it on your front. This would contain your essential, your essential items. We've got a few items in here, and I am going to add to this later on through the week. And then guess what, guys? On Friday, on our live stream on Friday night, we're going to give this away to the top gifter. So you may end up paying £1 for it. Who knows how much that's going to be. But guys, we are going to give this away to our top gifter. So whoever that is on Friday, we'll send that into the post the next day, and everything in it. So you've got a crack.
Thank you for subscribing, Laura.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Like I say, all our subscribers, we do exclusive content to you guys every day, telling you guys things that would normally get taken down if we put them on the main.
And thank you, Isabella, for subscribing.
If you put them on the main platform. So, guys, inside here, what's inside? I can feel you wanting to know what's inside. We are going to add to this. This is not complete yet. So, guys, this is a really good quality. This is a really good quality bag. And again, I chose this one because it's hardware and it's well made, but it's a civilian one. If you'll see lots of these, people on prepper websites, and they'll have these big backpacks. Guys, they're just drawing attention to yourself. And normally, if you guys have got to evacuate, if you're looking at a grid down situation, a natural disaster, anything, all right, there will be criminal elements targeting you. That's just unfortunately the reality of society at the moment. And you want to make yourself and your family as small a target as possible. So if you're a criminal gang and you're looking at masses of people walking or evacuating or leaving somewhere or going somewhere, right, you've got a family and they've got all the best gear, they've got all the best North Face clothes on, they've got the brand new backpacks, everybody, they're huge, and then you walk past with your family and mum and dad have got one of these on each. Out of those two families, who do you think's got the most raidable equipment? Is it the ones at the front with all the nice new shiny kit and equipment, or is it the ones at the back? Of course, those ones with all the kit and equipment, they're going to be the ones that are going to identify. It's kind of a combat indicator. Those people will be the first ones identified by criminal gangs, guys. And unfortunately, that's what happens in these situations. You can look back at any natural disaster. There's always marauding gangs. There's always criminal gangs. Even now in Tampa, in Florida, when these people are evacuating, there will be gangs left behind, and they'll be looting, they'll be stealing, and that is just the reality of the situation. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Anyway, so the bag itself, it's got several. We'll come on to that later, guys, because I don't want to take the stream up talking about what's in here. So far in here, we've got a little. In fact, guys, this is sealed. I'm going to break the seal on this to show you what's inside. Oh.
James has got his grab bag packed and ready to bug out, has been ready for years.
So I am breaking that, guys. So in here you've got a small flashlight. I don't know if it's charged. Yeah, it's charged, and it's just a really nice little flashlight you can put in there, and it's you get a charger on it, and it comes in a little in a little protective case. So that, in fact, guys, you know what? I have actually got another one of these. I'll put a new one in that's got a seal on it. So that's the first thing you get in there. Second thing we're going to throw in there is a little radio. Now I've gone for a low cost radio. This is because for two reasons. First of all, it does what it says, and you don't really want to draw attention to yourself because you don't want people coming over and stealing things. Also, if I put a really cool radio in here, you'd probably just use it on a day-to-day basis, and then when you needed it, it wouldn't be there. So that's why I've gone for one of the low cost radios. It's just, this is one of those things that radio will be the last to go in an emergency situation. So we put that in there, and as well we've got a head torch. Now this head torch, it's really cool. Not only is it a head torch, but this thing, you can tie that around your backpack. You can basically, it's a light that you can attach onto anything. So you can attach it onto here, you can attach it onto your dog, your kids, whatever. They're really good because you can adjust the strap and you can attach that onto anything. And I've also got a little funnel. Now this funnel, it'll become more apparent when we talk about water and water storage. But what you should have with this, and I'm not going to put one in, but you should have a 500 litre plastic water bottle, and that will be your water bottle. Now, when you're in these... Go on, sir.
James has just put, will DAB still be available in certain situations or just FM AM?
I don't think... I think DAB will... So, digital... So that what we're talking about there is digital radio.
Thank you, Jojo.
I don't know. I would say not, but what I would aim towards is making sure you can do AM and FM, which are they're the hardest ones to hack. They're the hardest ones to go down. If you've got a transmitter, people can receive it. You can't really hack it. Water, guys. Water is really important. So if you've got a 500 milliliter water bottle in here, which is what I would recommend, that water bottle, you keep reusing it. So how can you pour water into your water bottle from a cup? You can't. And when you go to these places, it may be, you may have you may have centralized feeding, and they may be coming around with cups of water, cups of something. You can't pour a cup into a water bottle. So I've put a funnel in here for you guys. So for whatever reason or circumstance, you can fill your water bottles up. Anyway, guys, so that is going to be a giveaway on Friday to the top gifter. So yeah, I just wanted to touch what's happening in the United States, guys. All right, they're looking like a Category 5 hurricane hitting landfall on Thursday. A lot of people are talking about weather manipulation. A lot of people are talking about, the situation with regards to the elections. It doesn't matter right now.
Thank you, Jojo.
That will come out in, the truth will come out in the future. But what happens, what we're talking about now is those people in Florida, they all need to evacuate north. So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. And if you guys are in America, that's why I did it first. I'm gonna put this on our other platform so you guys can maybe take some, just understand what's happening. So.
Can I just ask you this one? James has just put, do you think there's any truth in the US government creating this hurricane by seeding?
Yeah, I mean,
because this is a 6. There's never been a 6 before.
Is it a 6?
Yeah, the recategorising.
Okay,
it as a
right,
6.
guys. So it's just I thought it was a category.
It's only ever
5.
gone to 5, but
wow.
now
Okay, so
now
this
calling
is the
it a
most
6.
powerful hurricane. Wow. So, like I said, I don't know if the government or some government have done this. I know it's possible. I don't know it's possible. I know that in the 1950s in Britain, on the south coast, there was an incident where the RAF, they did some sort of cloud seeding. And I think this comes from German technology that the Germans were experimenting in. You'd have to look at that. I'm not 100% on that, but I know for 100 guys. Just quickly, don't forget to tap the screen, like, comment, subscribe, share, because I'm talking to you guys about cloud seeding, weather manipulation, and all sorts of wild stuff. So yeah, in the 1950s, I think it was the 50s,
James.
but it was soon after the Second World War. The RAF, they went up, and it was on the south coast somewhere. You can search this.
They reckon also Russia manipulates the weather on Victory Day, so it's always sunny on May 9th.
They may do. I don't know. Okay, so back in the 50s, I think it was the 50s. It was soon after the Second World War. The RAF cloud seeded in the south coast somewhere. I can't remember where it was exactly, but basically the rivers, I think they rose by 15 meters. Now, can you imagine the rivers rising 15 meters? A load of people died. It was bad. Now, it was bad, but as a proof of concept, does it work? Yes, absolutely. Now, they said that this project was stopped because of the catastrophic loss of life. But, guys, let's be serious now. If you're a military and you can manipulate the weather, are you going to stop funding that, or are you just going to stop publicly funding that? Because being able to manipulate the weather is a huge advantage. Can you imagine when your enemies are, imagine you've got your enemies advancing against you and you just think, right, I'm just going to send a rain cloud. How can you stop a rain cloud? It's virtually impossible. So weather manipulation is there. They do it in Dubai, the Chinese do it openly. So we know weather manipulation is there. Have the US government started a hurricane to coincide with the elections? I genuinely don't know, but what I will say is the truth will always come out, and the truth is out there. You just need to know where to look. I don't know enough about this subject to, I don't know enough about this subject to be able to give you guys an in-depth analysis. I can just tell you what I know. Go on, Sarah.
UK Veterans has put military aircraft has been tracked above that hurricane in the States, and James Jennings has put the US not only used Agent Orange in Vietnam, they also used seeding to flood areas. Weather is a weapon.
Yeah, weather is a weapon. What I'll say about Agent Orange is, the official use of Agent Orange, it's basically a weed killer. So what they found is that the Viet Cong, they were hiding underneath the tree cover. So again, this is the official use of it. Now they said that what they needed is a weed, something basically that killed all the foliage on the trees. So what they would do is they would fly over these areas and they would just spray this orange stuff on them. Now the reason they called it Agent Orange is just because when they were testing when they were in a laboratory somewhere testing it, they had Agent Blue, Green, Red, Yellow, and Orange. And they just found out that Agent Orange was the most potent at destroying those crops. Now, obviously, that had huge effects on people's physical health. It caused a lot of problems, and anyway, that's the official reason why they used Agent Orange. It was to get rid of the tree cover, basically, so they could see who's below it, and then they could call in indirect fire missions on whoever was below. I don't know if these US military aircraft seen in and around that region are doing something, whether they're seeding, putting something in the atmosphere so the clouds would follow a certain route. I genuinely don't know. I don't know enough about it, but like UK Veterans said, this is something that has been seen on the flight radar. Guys, don't forget to tap, like, share the live, tap the screen, subscribe if you can. Remember, guys, we give you guys exclusive content to the subscribers because we're getting a lot of videos taken down. So that's why we have to do it to the subscribers. We, last week, I think it was it what was it we said would happen on it? So now it's come out in the mainstream media now about sleeper cells operating. We actually warned our subscribers about sleeper cells being activated. Literally the same day we said, listen guys, sleeper cells I said it's likely that sleeper cells will be activated. Literally that afternoon in, I think it was Denmark and Sweden, there were sleeper cells. This is what the mainstream media are saying, guys, so it's not me speculating. This is what the mainstream media came out and they said sleeper cells were activated with links to Iran. So, you know, we're getting this information out to you guys when we can, and it comes out on mainstream media. If I would have put that video as a public video, it would have been taken down as misinformation, because until that happens, it is misinformation. And until that can be corroborated by several news outlets, it is misinformation, and they have to do that, you know. Otherwise, you know, any Tom, Dick, Harry, Fred, whoever could just be spouting whatever. You know, I don't do that, guys. I give you guys the best information.
Thank you,
know,
Wendeley, for subscribing.
Yeah, it's always the best of my ability. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are at the moment. Now, I kind of spoke about this yesterday when I spoke about on yesterday's live, but I went on a tangent. I was watching a video over the weekend, and it was a Katie Hopkins video. She was talking about the energy supply to the United Kingdom.
Okay, Sharon, see you soon.
She was talking about the energy supply to the United Kingdom, and she was saying how we're having energy rationing, and then she talked about how blackouts are coming. And the way she articulated it, I just thought, you know, wow, how haven't I noticed this? And yeah, guys, so right now in the United Kingdom, we are net energy importers. We don't produce enough energy in the United Kingdom. Not only don't we produce enough, and what I'm saying, and the reason I'm saying this, you know, we kind of, when you want a cup of tea, you go and flick the kettle on, and you expect it always to be there, even if it is a little bit more expensive now. You know, we can flick the kettle on, and it's there. And you can, you know, if it's really cold, really cold, and you know you're feeling brave, you can put one of those electric heaters on in your bedroom. Or, you know, we expect that the electricity is always going to be there. Well, guys, guess what? In lots of the world, there are energy blackouts. So in the Middle East, for example, there's an energy there. In Syria, when I used to work in Syria, I can't remember what times it was exactly, but basically the electricity would go off at a certain time and then it would come back on. Now they do this obviously to save, you know, to protect the grid, because they don't have enough. The supply is greater than, the demand is greater than the supply. Now we've got all these things heading to the same. We've got like all these things heading to the same direction at the moment in the United Kingdom.
See you soon, James. Thank you.
And again, remember what we always say, there's more people coming into the United Kingdom at the moment. So there's more people flicking the switch for the kettle, more people turning lights on, more people needing food, more people needing everything. Now, whether you agree with that or not, it's happening. So this is putting a bigger toll on the electricity grid. So I'm predicting now that we're going to see blackouts at some point in the United Kingdom. I don't see how this can't happen, because we're closing down our coal industry, our coal-fired energy plants, and we don't have a solution to, you know, we don't have a secondary solution. The wind farms, so off the coast of the Shetland Islands in Scotland, where it's the best place for wind. Guess what? They produce too much wind, so they have to be turned off. Can you imagine that now? The wind farms in the Shetlands produce too much wind and have to be turned off. It's absolutely absurd.
Thank you, Rosie Posey.
So not only do we have a situation where we don't have enough electricity, but the places that we're producing electricity, we can't consume that electricity because they're producing too much electricity. So, you know, the situation at the moment in the United Kingdom, looking towards energy shortages, energy blackouts, grid down situations, it really is coming to a loggerheads. Guys, don't forget to click the screen, tap the screen. You know, that really helps us with the algorithm, helps us to push that up. Subscribe if you can. Remember, we're doing exclusive content to our subscribers. And guys, if you just Sarah's telling me that some people just joined the stream. So guys, if you just joined the stream, Friday we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away an urban survival kit, which I'll show. So basically, in here, guys, we've got an urban survival kit, and this is it's not gonna be everything, but it's gonna be a lot, what I would recommend as a minimum standard for an urban survival kit. We're gonna talk more about that through the week. But that's gonna be, guys, we're gonna give that away on Friday to the highest gifter. So whoever that is, last week, the highest gifter, we sent them a t-shirt. In fact, we'll throw a t-shirt in there as well. So we're giving away loads of free stuff, guys. So make sure you join us on Friday night. It's gonna, guys. Also, we've got the other platforms now. We're gonna try and triple stream on. Friday if we can. And what we're also going to do is we're going to try and get it so you guys can join in the conversation. So at 9 o'clock we'll close everything down. We'll just be streaming on the other platforms, and then I don't know if I can mention it, but we'll put the links in the description, and you'll be able to click on the link, and you'll be able to join the room in real time and see what's happening. You'll be able to talk as if you're in here, and we'll be able to have a real time conversation, and all that'll be live streamed. So that's what we're hoping to do on Friday. Now, the situation in Ukraine, guys. I'm just going to touch on Ukraine, and I'll touch on the Middle East.
Is it Katriana? She just asked a question about Ukraine. If you can just put it back up, Katriana.
Good. So what's guys? Can you put the question about Ukraine back up?
Yes, Rosie Posey, we are. If you look in the profile, you'll see all the links.
We've not got. We're still working on one of the links though. That will be there for Friday. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've got three. Well, we've got four platforms now, but we've only got 3 in the links because we're still working on the other one. We don't really know how to use it. I don't know what's going to happen on Friday. It could all go wrong, but we're gonna go for it anyway. So, what's been happening in Ukraine at the moment? So one of the main things is that both the Ukrainians and the Russians are now targeting each other's energy supply and energy systems, whether that be electricity grid, whether that's petrol and oil production, processing facilities. The Ukrainians are striking the Russians' grid, and the Russians are striking the Ukrainians' grid.
Oh yes, Katriana, renewable energy resources in minerals high in Ukraine.
Yeah, so the energy, and so for those of you guys who don't know, that Ukraine was I don't know if it still is, but before the war it was the 7th largest gas producer. Now there's a lot of people saying that could have been pushed up a lot higher because the oil fields, gas fields, particularly in a region in mid-Ukraine called Poltava, those gas producing regions they're basically run by an oligarchy, and that oligarchy, they don't let new people in, because why would you? Because if they invest more in their system, they're not going to get any more, they're not going to get any more money for what they're earning, because they can only sell X amount. What they would do is that would just dilute their share of that profit. So what people have been trying to do is use new equipment, modern equipment, and refurbish the old gas well. Is it a well? I don't know if it's a gas well. But the gas standpipes, basically. Now, what I think is really suspicious is how, when Hunter Biden went over there, and there's a lot of information online about this, but Hunter Biden allegedly, through some of his associates, investment funds or whatever, they bought a lot of these gas fields and a lot of this infrastructure in Ukraine. Now, people were then talking, saying, right, why have they spent all this money on these gas fields and they're not bringing in machinery, they're not doing anything with them? And then the 2022 invasion come. So there's a lot of people saying that they already knew about this. Go on, Sarah.
Katriana's put, do you think USA and UK want Putin to get hands on it?
No, I don't think they do at all. I'd say, no, not all. I'd say that one of the, and again, we always talk about sovereignty and the democracy of people. Let me just go to, I'll quickly switch fire to the Falklands, and then you'll understand why I'm talking about it. There's a lot of hype at the moment in the UK about, the Argentinians wanting to take the Falklands, and the United Kingdom are going to defend the Falklands, and and the people of the Falklands have the right to decide. Well, in this instance, it's got nothing to do with the people of the Falklands. The Argentinians do not care. They don't care about the people on the Falkland Islands. They don't particularly care about the islands. There's nothing there. There really isn't anything there. What they care about is the claim those islands lay claim to huge mineral deposits, huge natural resources. So that's why the conflict is brewing in that region.
Oh, Rosie Posey just put, Hunter Biden invested, BlackRock is being given the mandate to rebuild Ukraine. Highly suspicious.
Yeah, it is. So let's go back to Katya's question. So Do we think that the United States and the US want the Russians to get hold of those minerals? Absolutely not, no. And I'd say that is a huge contributing factor when, and unfortunately people look at this and they look, right, okay, after this war's over, what can we get back from Ukraine? Well, there's mass mineral deposits in Ukraine that are untapped. There's huge gas deposits that are untapped in Ukraine, and people don't talk about this enough. The land in Ukraine is ridiculously fertile. You can grow a lot of
UK
food.
veterans just put BlackRock companies are buying up the farming land in Ukraine 30% so far.
Yeah, so you understand that, like, from what have I talked about food on this stream? I think I did a video earlier on our other platform, guys. Yeah, it was about the food security in the United Kingdom. It's all over. In the United Kingdom now, we have farmers warning about food shortages. We've got they're saying that this year could be the lowest food yield that we've had in this country. We've got all these, this like war against our food supply. It was early on because I did it this morning because there was a farmer in the field. And it's got to a stage now where farmers are being incentivized. When we've got food shortages on the way, farmers are actually being incentivized to not grow food. And then we've got the we've all got to register our chickens. And I saw an article somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but people are being urged not to grow their own food because of global warming. And you're like, what? How is that even a thing? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, CC Outdoor Education for All has put there's a massive mineral grab all over the world. Take a look at North Carolina.
Yeah, so like minerals and natural resources, when you follow everything back, that's what everything's about. It's okay being able to, create, the greatest steel ships, but where do you get your iron ore from? Ultimately, for those ships, you need iron ore. Okay, I want to build some sort of massive computer. Okay, where do you get your minerals for those microchips and those processors? It all comes down to, natural resources. When you follow this thing back,
veterans just put to find the truth, just follow the money.
Yeah, so you can follow the money and you get a good answer. But I've been following the money, and there's some things like for example, BlackRock. BlackRock don't need any money. Like BlackRock, I don't know the exact figures, but some people are saying that BlackRock control $10 trillion worth of investment. So, what is it that's driving them? If you take out money out of that equation, and we kind of touched on it yesterday in yesterday's live stream, and I think it was Sharon who came up with a fantastic. Go on, Sarah.
I would just catch you on as put lithium electric vehicles. Then underneath we've got Rosie Posey was put, yes, North Carolina has lithium deposits in abundance. Why is FEMA stopping help coming in?
Yeah, so all over the world where you find mass, also there was, let me try and get it up. There was, I think there was a massacre somewhere in Africa. No, there was a massacre in Africa, and it just happens that those places, Burkina Faso. So yeah, there's lots of conflicts in and around those areas that have huge natural mineral deposits, and it's very easy. Like, for example, and I'm just speculating here. For example, I'm not saying any of whether manipulation is real or anything, but if you can get people to leave a region and destroy their homes, destroy their houses, guess what? It's a lot easier to conduct mining facilities in that region. So, you've got, like Katriana said, then with the lithium deposits, there's also huge...
See, literally, it's took words out your mouth. CC Outdoor Education for weather manipulation and weaponised weather to displace people.
Yeah, so again, I don't know enough about this. I don't know what chemicals would be used. It's not something I can only tell you guys what I'm seeing.
Katriana just put, I'm not a scientist, but scary what they can do with uranium.
Yeah, so the big kabooms that uranium can do. For those of you who don't know, Ukraine is there's loads of Ukrainium. There's loads of Ukrainium in uranium. No, so Ukraine has the uranium deposits in Ukraine are crazy. When I was in Ukraine, you can get like just normal stones, and they have some sort of radioactive output in just normal stones that are on the floor. So if you know where to mine these things, if you know how to get them. So the Donetsk region, where all this fighting has been happening, this is a huge mineral deposit. There's vast mineral deposits in there.
They have lots of biolabs in Ukraine, mostly owned by the US. That's from Rosie Posey.
Again, I don't know anything about that. I do know there were salt mines in Ukraine by where was it? It was in the south near Mykolaiv. I can't remember. I can't remember. I can't remember where it was, but there was huge salt mines. Now, those salt mines were used to store World War II weapons. So when the Americans were supporting the Russians in World War II, they gave them a load of weapons on a loan lease system, so the Russians could fight the Germans. Now, guys, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, tap the screen if you can. Obviously, for our subscribers, we give you guys exclusive content to our subscribers because we're getting so many videos taken down now.
Thank you, Ned Barnes.
And if we put videos out there in the open, they get taken down, and that doesn't help anyone, and it brings our channel down, and we could get our channel, destroyed, or what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for, Sarah?
Banned.
Banned. It just gets deleted. So yeah, for our subscribers, guys, we do exclusive content every day for our subscribers. So where was I? Yeah, so the Ukrainians in these salt mines, and again, some people are saying that there's these biolabs in Ukraine in the salt mines. You would have them in the salt mines because that monitors the moisture, and it's a lot easier to work in those salt mines if you can monitor the humidity. I do know there was a huge weapons storage facility in these salt mines, and they had a load of World War II weapons that were gifted to the Russians by the Americans. Now, some of these things that were being taken out of these weapons boxes were like unused World War II weapon systems. And, guys, these things should be in a museum. They shouldn't, but, apparently these are getting used on the front line. So the Donetsk region in Ukraine, like we just said, there's lots of minerals in this location. Now, I think it was 2017 or maybe 16 or something. I was out there when the conflict was, we're like 4 years into its development. I was in Donetsk, and I was sat with my interpreter at a train line, and this train was going past, and it was one of these huge, freight trains.
Thank you, Rosie Posey.
With loads, it was a huge freight train with loads of these carriages on. And for those of you who've ever seen like Soviet trains, Russian trains, the ones that operate in Eastern Europe, they're just bigger, guys. They're huge. They're terrifying. When you look at them, you're like, that is a train, but it's just bigger. So anyway, this train's going past, and I said to my interpreter, Zhenya, I said, "What's in there, Zhenya?" He said, "Oh, it's coal." I said, "Oh." I said, "Where's it going?" He said, "Oh, it's going to Russia." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, it goes to Russia." I said, "And this thing's full of coal?" He said, "Yes." So we've got a log multi-fuel store. So I worked out each one of these carriages would be about £40,000 worth of coal. Obviously, that's UK prices. That's UK retail
Thank
price.
you for resubscribing, Devin.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for your subscriptions, guys. It really helps us out. It helps the channel out. And, we can get you guys exclusive content because we do get so many of these videos taken down. So we're sat there, this train goes past. And I think I counted 24 of these carts that were worth 40 grand each, UK retail price. And these, two of these were leaving every day from Donetsk, and they were going into Russia, and that was stolen minerals. So you can only imagine what's happening in those mineral contents that are just going into Russia. So, people are talking about the minerals in Ukraine. Are they worth fighting for? Yes, of course. This is what people predominantly fight wars over. You can spice it up and say, I'll go back to the Falklands because I don't want to, I don't want anybody to, I know there's a lot more complexities to these conflicts than, and they're not as, and I do understand the complexities, so I will just use the Falklands as a benchmark. The Argentinians don't care about the Falkland Islands. They care about the mineral resources that lays claim to. The Russians don't care about the Argentinians. The Russians care about the claim that they can lay to the Falklands. So you see that all these conflicts there, the people are laying lines, and right now I don't want to call it, but I feel that everything's headed like, no, and again, this is off everyone's radar, but remember guys, I tell you guys things that are well in the future. I think, and I'm starting to think, I'm not gonna call it yet, but I'm starting to think everything is about Antarctica. It's wild, nobody's talking about it, it's off everyone's radar, but the more I think about it, the more it makes more sense that all these conflicts, like, how's the Middle East conflict got anything to do with, Antarctica? Well, would it surprise you if I told you Iran has a claim in Antarctica? So, and the more you think about these things, the more you put them together, you start to think, right, okay, everything is heading towards Antarctica. Everything's heading towards that region of the earth. Because, look at the minerals down there, look at the money down there, look at the facilities down there, look at everything that is in and around Antarctica. It's virgin ground, it's unspoiled, there's been no mineral extraction down there. And there's some wild theories about aliens and, center of the earth things. I don't know about that. But, it does seem like everything is moving that direction. And, we'll find out in a couple of, as the months progress, as the United States make their, as the United States potentially look for a ground invasion into Iran, as the United Kingdom look at, bolstering the Ukrainian defenses against the Russians, all this is going to come out, and all this is going to become more apparent. Guys, if you've just joined the stream, remember to like, comment, subscribe, tap the screen. Friday, we're going to be giving away an urban survival kit. Nobody talks about urban survival, but it is the main one that people need to be worried about. Tell me this. If there is a situation in the United Kingdom and you have to evacuate your homes, are you really going to be foraging in the woods with one of those things trying to make a fire? It's just not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen in a million years. All right? Nobody's going to be foraging in the woods, hunter-gathering, wearing a rabbit skin loincloth. It's not going to happen. You're going to be in an urban environment. You're going to need, you're going to need bare items to, just to make just to make your life better in that situation. If you've ever had to evacuate from anywhere, if you've ever had to, be billeted in one of these huge, in a huge sports hall, you know the type of things that you need. And guys, we are going to be giving it away. We're going to be giving it away on Friday. And it is going to be, guys, it's going to be a wild show on Friday. We're going to be streaming on 3 different platforms, we hope. We're going to be letting you guys come into the studio and talk and shout. I don't even know what's going to happen. We may just get hecklers on here, and I may have to use my, my sharp wit and vast intelligence to put those hecklers down and stop the stream. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. It's going to be wild. Guys, but if you can consider subscribing, please subscribe. We get exclusive content to subscribers every day that happens. Right, let me make sure, guys, I'm just going to give you guys a quick Middle East update and then we are going. Yeah, lots of flights have been cancelled.
Rosie Posey, I live rurally, need a bug out bag, as Americans call it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bug out bag, whatever you want to call it. Like, I call these things, like for me, it would be an urban survival kit, because you're going to need different, like if you're going to be bugging out into the jungle, you're going to need a lot, the things you will need are going to be a lot different to if you have to evacuate your town, your city, and you have to move into another town, into another city, you have to be billeted, you have to be put in temporary accommodation. It's going to be totally different. I don't think anyone in the United Kingdom is going to be living in the woods foraging and, trying to use a bow to take down a squirrel. I just don't see it. Right, guys, 33 minutes ago, we've got an update from the Middle East. So let me just give this real quick. Right, so 16 minutes ago, let's just give the headlines. 16 minutes, so this is from the Middle East. We'll go from 49 minutes ago. The situation in Lebanon gets worse every day. Hezbollah deputy leader, US is essential partner in Israel's assault on Gaza. So Hezbollah are blaming the Americans now and saying that they're, are pointing the finger at the Americans. This gives us more of these diversions where Iran and America are going to be drawn to a conflict. Hezbollah deputy leader groups' military capabilities are intact. Israel's ground mission in Lebanon is a failure. Now, those of you, I did a video on this earlier on our other, on our other platform. There's been a lot of people talking about Iran testing a nuclear weapon. Now, I don't know if this is true, but it is out on a lot of, it's out there on a lot of media reporting on this. Now, they're saying that because of the depth of this detonation, it has to be a nuclear weapon. Now, they're saying this detonation was 10 kilometers down. Now, I want to just think about that number there.
Thank you for sharing the live.
Guys, thank you so much for sharing, subscribing, liking. If you can't do anything else, guys, just tap the screen. That pushes us up through the algorithm and it gets this video out to more people. So in Iran right now, it's looking like they have potentially tested a nuclear weapon. I should have probably started with this. But like I said, it's not confirmed yet, so I don't really want to go into it. I am suspicious why mainstream media in the West have not jumped all over this, because this is one of those things they would jump all over, because it feeds into that certain narrative. But let's just say that it, that it is true. They have tested a nuclear weapon, guys. One of the main things I'm thinking of here is that they've managed, the Iranians have managed to drill down 10 kilometers to detonate this thing. So that means that their deep underground military structures, their tunnel systems, they are deep, and I mean like really deep. And when we're thinking about attacking a country, and when people are talking about the might of the US Air Force, guys, the US Air Force is unparalleled by like a magnitude of 10. Also, the world's second largest air force is the United States Navy. So the amount of air power that the United States can bring to bear, it's not even, if I was having to fight the United States and I looked at their air power, I would say, right, we can't fight that, so I'm not even going to bother. Makes no sense for me to try and develop air defenses because they're going to be overwhelmed. It makes no sense for me to try and develop a fighter jet because it's not going to do anything. So why would I bother? I wouldn't. I would just go deep underground where those aircraft become irrelevant. And when you get these senior NATO generals and NATO commanders coming out and they're talking about, NATO would destroy Russia in 3 days, or they walk, or they breeze through Iran. That's all well and good conventionally, but they're not going to fight conventionally. Look at what we can take from these articles. The Iranians, if it's true, have the ability to dig down and conduct operations 10 kilometers down. Even if you only go with half of that and say, okay, it was just a well shaft at 5 kilometers, you can still see that they're operating deep underground. Now, you can imagine the tactical problems an opposing force would have if they went into a maze. Not only a maze, but you're literally in little tunnels. You don't know what traps are there. You don't know where you're going. These things can be flooded. They can be gassed. They can be closed off. All sorts of stuff can happen in those situations. So that's why I think people are underestimating Iran. And also, you've got the Iranians coming out saying they will activate sleeper cells. Did you have something, Sarah?
No, I was just going to say, Rosie Posey's just put a comment on saying mainstream media doesn't report on anything of importance. Diddy is a distraction.
Yeah, I mean, so when we talk about Diddy and like these parties that he was going to, and people are saying he's another Epstein and he X, Y, and Z. I always think about why was that happening? Who were they gathering information on? And then all this sort of stuff sends you down a very dark rabbit hole, and it's all kind of connected. Remember when Donald Trump came out and he said they're eating our cats, they're eating our cats. They're eating the dogs of the people that live there.
Thank you, LJ9221.
Remember when he said that? Now, I don't know whether he did that on purpose to send people down rabbit holes, but normal people will think, right, is that true? So then you do a search, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. And then you keep following those links, and you keep following them back. And guys, you go to a dark place when you're following that back. And part of me now, I'm thinking, did he do that on purpose to send people down a dark rabbit hole? Or, you know, was it just a gaff that was, you know, by mistake sending people down a dark rabbit hole? Because guys, honestly, if you go and do some, remember what we said yesterday, and I was saying, guys, listen, you need to look at Lord Ali, and then you guys were coming back and telling me things about Lord Ali, and you guys made some fantastic connections. You really did, you know. And what I'm saying now is you guys need to go down that rabbit hole of they're eating our cats and dogs. You need to follow it. You need to follow the links. You need to keep going back and saying, right, okay, so what's next? What's next? What's next? And then you get to a stage and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't go down there. But that's the reality. And all these things, the more you go back and the more the more you follow these things back, the more connections you make, and the more those things are interconnected. And, you know, and it's just absolutely insane. Then you start to think, right, okay. Then you look at the incidents that have happened, and then you can trace those back. And these things have been going on since the beginning of recorded history. So now you're thinking, okay, so these practices have been happening since the beginning of recorded history. Why? You know, some of these things are so unhinged that they've been happening since the beginning of recorded history. Guys, it's a rabbit hole you go down and you wish you had not gone down it. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tap the screen if you can. The Middle East is crazy at the moment. There's so much happening. The fighting in Ukraine, that's not stopping. It's going further forwards. You know, both sides are attacking each other's energy system, which is going to put stress on the European energy system because, you know, they're going to need to get energy from somewhere, the Ukrainians, because it gets really cold in Ukraine. Also, the United Kingdom, while all this is happening, the United Kingdom are closing our energy systems. We've got offshore wind farms now that are producing too much electricity, so they have to be closed down. And then we've got offshore wind farms that are not producing enough energy, so they're not even being turned on. Guys, we're looking like we're going to have energy blackouts at some point. It could be this year if we have a particularly cold winter. If we have a particularly cold winter this year, we really are going to have energy blackouts. You know, we've got there's so many data points heading towards this. You know, heading towards this at the moment, having energy blackouts. Just think right now what you could do if you knew this was happening. You know, could you get one of those battery banks? We're going to have one in our urban survival kit that we're giving away on Friday. You know, do you have a torch? Is it charged? Have you got spare batteries? Do you know where they are? All this sort of stuff needs to be centralized. And, you know, it needs to be zipped away and only opened in emergencies. You know, that means your kids don't go in it when they want to play hide and seek and they want to use the emergency torch, because I can guarantee that emergency torch will be left on, it'll be thrown under a bed, and that'll be it then. When you come to need it, it will be gone, it will be finished, it won't be, you know, you won't be able to use it. So all these things, when you're putting them together, you know, you need to be able to keep them safe, keep them unused, put it inside a waterproof bag, you know, so it can't be, you know, so it can't, you know, in this, you know, if there's an emergency, if there's a flood, if something happens, it's kept. It's, you know, one of those like, you know, those vacuum bags you get and you put the Hoover on it. Whatever your, you know, your bug out bag is, your emergency survival kit, get the. And I know it sounds weird talking about this, but go back to the beginning of the video when we was talking about Storm Milton hitting the United States, guys. I thought this was a Category 5 hurricane, but Sarah just told me that this has actually been upgraded to a Category 6 hurricane. I don't even know what that means. I can't even imagine what that's like to be in that situation. You know, from what I understand, there, you know, the wind speeds there are 180 miles an hour. The most we've ever experienced here in our house is 80 kilometers an hour, and that was that was taking people off their feet. You know, I remember my granddad was walking down the was walking across, we live on the top of a hill, and my granddad was walking across the wall, and I just saw the wind came, and it took him, and he was rolling down the, you know, it was rolled across the window. It was quite funny, but, you know, we don't understand what the people in the United States are about to, you know, they're about to come on to. So, guys, you know, these weather incidents, these freak weather incidents, they could happen in the United Kingdom. We had ridiculous rain the other day. We had like was it last month? You know, we had, some people were saying we had like a month's rain drop in, what was it, 24 hours or something. All these things can cause people to have to evacuate their homes. And when you have to evacuate your home quickly, your head will be up your something. You'll be running around, you'll be worried about your kids, you'll be trying to tell your kids to do something, you'll go up there, your kids won't have done it, they'll be playing on the computer, and you'll be like, we need to leave in 30 seconds, then they'll be sat down giving you attitude, and you know, they won't understand the importance. You know, so this is why everybody should have some sort of urban survival kit that you can just grab, and it's got your key items and you can go. Like I said, guys, we're going to be giving one away on Friday, so make sure you're on the live stream Friday, guys.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. In fact, 8 p.m. or should we do it a little bit earlier? What do we think? Should we do it earlier? Because we said we were going to do a longer one, didn't we?
Yeah.
What guys, what's the consensus? On Friday, we wanted to do a bit of a longer live stream. Now, should we start earlier or should we continue later? I don't know. It is Friday, so we could either start at 7 or we could go through to 10. I genuinely don't know what would be best for you guys.
Kenzie's right. Do you think Iran conducted their first nuclear test this last week?
Yeah, so we spoke about that earlier, Kenzie. So, like I said, I genuinely don't know. What I will say though, and I did a video and touched on this on our other platform. If they did, it brings a new dimension to this conflict, because that means, I mean, what it could have been is, it could have been a nuclear test, and it could have been, if it was a nuclear test, that would be a huge message to the Israelis, that we're right, guys, listen, you strike us, we can strike you back with nuclear weapons. And what I've always said, like, I always say this, people are talking about nuclear weapons. You can't just click a button and turn a nuclear weapon on. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a series of tests. And people think that in the Cold War, you know, the United States and the Russians were saber rattling by testing these nuclear weapons. They were saber rattling, but the main thing they were doing is testing it for themselves. Now, if you think of a nuclear, guys, all of you guys who are watching this stream now, think about this. Guys, make sure you tap the screen and like and comment and share and subscribe. When you think of a nuclear weapon, what are you thinking of right now? What's that image you've got in your head? The mushroom cloud. Before that, what have you got? You're thinking of a big missile, aren't you? Going up into space or whatever. Most people, that's what they'll think of. I don't think that's going to happen in the future. What I think you're going to find is, because of the engineering problems that come to that. I mean, I can't think of something. I haven't got anything. Think about that you put your warhead on there, and then that goes into space really quickly. There's a lot of engineering that you have to put together to make that work. First of all, you have to have an intercontinental ballistic missile, which is not easy. They're not easy to come by. That needs to be accurate. Not easy to do. Then you have to be able to put the nuclear warhead in there. Engineering problems, you know, you've got a lot of thrust, you've got a lot of G-force, there's a lot of delta V pushing on that system. Wiring can come undone, components can come loose, all sorts of things can happen. So it's not as easy as you think to send these rockets over, it's really not. And then you've got to worry about, is the thing going to go off? So I think what you will see, I think you'll see, if it happens, I think you'll see the first detonations of nuclear weapons in combat. They'll just be literally put on the back of a big truck and drove somewhere. Then you can have all your scientists taking whatever time they want, make sure they can run their tests, calibrate whatever they need to calibrate, and they can then, you know, make sure that is compatible and it will work. And this is what I feel it could have happened in Iran, whereby they're doing all the tests, they're making sure it can go off right, it can go off right. We know, the Iranians now know, if it is true, and I'm not saying it is, I'm saying it could be, but if it is true, the Iranians know now that they could put a nuclear weapon on the back of a truck, drive that wherever, and then detonate it whenever they see fit. Remember, there is a proven route now from Iran through Iraq, through Syria, to the Golan Heights. That's there. That is 100%. I can confirm there is a road route there. Now, what we're hearing is that there are a lot of underground tunnels now that lead through the Golan Heights into Israel. So what could happen is you could have a situation now where a nuclear weapon is literally trucked in on the back of a truck. This thing goes in, it's transported in civilian cargo. Remember, I always say, the next phase of warfare, you're going to see civilian cargo transportation being used. Those big storage containers on the back of ships, those can house ballistic missiles, but with the nuclear weapons. That could be then trucked in to whatever location, very difficult to find on radar, very difficult to find without knowing where it is. You know, you can have radiation shielding and this thing can be moved in. Again, you know, it would be susceptible to an airstrike, but if you don't know it's going, it's very difficult to strike something you don't know is moving.
Kenzie's just put, I was reading a lot of, that the earthquake wasn't normal and how it didn't have an aftershock.
Yeah, the earthquake wasn't normal. It was, like I said, it was at 10 kilometers deep, which is not, that is very shallow for an earthquake. So that's like the main combat indicator to say that it wasn't an earthquake. But I mean, we did touch on that. The fact that the Iranians can dig to that depth and operate at that depth. Think about the tunnel systems, you know, the Iranians could possibly have underneath their mountainous regions. Think about the munitions, the infrastructure, the weapons, the, you know, capacity. You can't go into, guys, as an opposing military, you just can't go into those tunnel systems.
Kenzie's just put, it also said it had the same readings as an explosion.
Yeah, so all these things are out, but, you know, what I would say, what I'm really conscious is, why is the Western media not reporting on this like the Eastern media in Asia? Because the media all over Asia, they're reporting on this and they're saying that this is a nuclear weapon, this is a covert nuclear weapon test. I'm really suspicious why the Western media is not reporting on this, because this fits perfectly into that narrative of Iranians getting a weapon. So
Sorry guys, which earthquake is this? Can you just...
So there were tremors felt in Iran on the 5th. So it was on the 5th of October, obviously this year. There were tremors felt in Iran. I think 100 miles from Tehran. Let me just quickly get that up for you guys. I'll get this up for you and I'll tell you what it was. So yeah, so it was earthquakes and Iran. It was like 10 kilometers below the ground, and
Thank you, Andy Six.
Yeah, right, guys. I'm going to try and pronounce this. It was in.
That's right, UK veteran.
The Soker region. It was in the Soker region in the Semnan region of Iran. Iran has gone nuclear since last night. This is from, guys. This is just an ex-post. Iran has gone nuclear as of last night. They used the test bomb 10 kilometers below the surface near Semnan to ensure minimum radiation exposure, and it resulted in a 4.6 on the Richter scale earthquake, which was recorded by seismographs. So this is in like the central northern region of Iran. That's all we know at the moment. You know, there really isn't much more information out there. But if this has happened, this brings a new dimension to all these conflicts. You can't fight in tunnels. You can't fight, you know, it's just not something you can do. So all the US military, with their technology and their, you know, their wealth of air power, you know, they've got the best tanks, the best artillery, they've got the best armored vehicles. Guys, none of that matters if your enemy is in a tunnel system.
Thank you, Gareth.
A tunnel system that can potentially be 10 kilometers underground. Now, I'm saying 10 kilometers because this is where the blast was, you know, the blast was, what's the word I'm looking for? Not triangulated. People are speculating that this blast was 10 kilometers under the ground. Now, even if this wasn't 10 kilometers, even if this was 1 kilometer under the ground, that is still a vast, ridiculous depth to be operating. All your air power, irrelevant. All your artillery, irrelevant. All your tanks, absolutely irrelevant. That means you're going to have troops dismounted going corridor to corridor, room to room, clearing these tunnel systems. Not going to happen. Not going to happen in a million years. It will
Thank
be,
you, Gareth.
guys, it would be, it's just not going to happen. You can't do it. You don't know what you're going through. You're going through, you're going through these corridors that could be 100, 200, 300 meters long. And they could have anything, they could be closed off when you get in there by big steel doors. And then you're in your best, most elite special forces are now trapped in a concrete vessel, a kilometer underground, controlled by the Iranians.
Thank you for your subscription, Danielle.
It's just not going to happen. Guys, thank you so much for the subscribers. We do exclusive content every day for the subscribers. And again, if you've just joined the stream, guys, we've been going for over an hour now, guys. So I'm going to cut this stream. But before I go, I'm going to say this: for our subscribers, we do exclusive content now. You guys who've been following the channel for a while, we get videos taken down all the time, and we get them taken down because we put things out there, and then they're deemed misinformation. What happens then? We appeal that decision. It'll come out what we've said on mainstream media. That decision will be, once somebody reviews it, somebody in whatever country reviews it, they will say, oh yeah, that's not misinformation. The video might get put back up a day, 2 days later, or it may just vanish totally and we can't even appeal it. And every time that happens, we get a black mark against our channel. And the more black mark, we're in green at the moment, but we're just about to go to amber. So every video that we get taken down, it pushes us towards getting the channel deleted. Now, and that doesn't help anyone, because if we put these videos out there for everyone and they get deleted, it doesn't help anyone because nobody's seen it. So what I will say, guys, if you have subscribed and you are a subscriber and we put exclusive content out to you guys, please, tell your friends, speak to your friends about what we're saying, and get a national conversation going about what's happening in the world, because too many people are still sleepwalking into oblivion. And what I'll say is, I'll give you the example last week. Last week in the morning, I gave a video about the potential of sleeper cells, and I know I've done this earlier on, guys, but for those of you just joining, I gave a video earlier on last week in the morning. I said, listen guys, there's a real potential now in the United Kingdom, across Europe, of these sleeper cells being activated. Literally that afternoon, there were sleeper cells activated in Denmark and in Sweden. So if I'd have put that video out put it out public, it would have been taken down as misinformation and fear-mongering. But the reality is, it did happen. All right, we can only speculate about future events because nobody's got a time machine yet. So that's what we do.
Thank you, LJ9221.
And we give you guys exclusive content for the subscribers, and it's just how we have to do it, guys, to protect the channel. Anyway, guys, so I'm going to mag to grid now. We're going to close this stream now. Thank you so much for your likes. Thank you guys for subscribing. Really helps the channel out so much. And guys, Friday night, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to be giving away an urban survival kit to the top gifter. Guys, it's wild. It's going to be fantastic. You guys are also fantastic, and I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, bye.